the kids, great. Anyway, so last night we went out and we drove around to look at Christmas lights because we all love Christmas lights and they're just fun and we're listening to Adventures in Odyssey while we're driving. It was great. We came back home and we thought, now's the perfect time to get the teapot warmed up and have some hot drinks. And so I'm making some hot chocolate and I walked over to the tree and I took a candy cane. And there was horror in the house. I had taken a candy cane until I told her she could have some. Oh, yeah. And then we were going. I gave her a little bit. I'm loving, but not that much with candy canes. I think that the candy cane is going to continue to be a Christmas tradition in our household. What's your Christmas traditions in your household? What are the ones you guys have? Myrtle, do you have any Christmas traditions?
Yeah, usually a book try to do a book each night.
Like read a book a Christmas book each night. Very cool. Christmas story book. Cool. Very cool. Well, somebody else got a Christmas tradition? Y'all scared I'm wandering out in the audience now? Oh no! Yeah, Michelle.
Every year I always buy an ornament.
Oh, cool. Yeah, every year a different ornament. Right? If you remember the day or the year and name on it, so you remember, hopefully in 3 years. Cool. Other Christmas tradition, yeah. Molasses, ginger cookies, and Swedish fruit soup.
Swedish fruit soup.
Anybody else? Christmas traditions. Cindy, do you have Christmas traditions? I'm going to pick on you every week. This is now it. I don't know why. It's just fun. It is weird when the kids aren't home.
He would always put on his really loud Santa music kind of
Harry Connick Jr. at high decibels. Did they not beat you up? Were you up before them?
That was just when they come out.
Oh, so you barricaded them in the room. You cannot get out. Why didn't we think of that? You slept in? Really? What's wrong with you? Wow. That's disappointing. We were up early. Our parents had the stocking of like really cheap stuff with an orange in the foot, just to keep us occupied for a long period of time. One of the coolest Christmas traditions when I was growing up is that we lived in Michigan, and not that that was cool, but my grandparents, my mom's mom and my mom's dad both lived in Michigan. And so we would go to the grandparents' house after Christmas. We'd have our Christmas, and then we'd go to the grandparents' house. And there's something about going to Grandma and Grandpa's that is unsurpassed. Anything else. It's like Happy World at Grandma and Grandpa's, right? I mean, there's just something special about going to Grandma and Grandpa's. And my grandparents were Grandpa Sweat and Grandma Cook. That was mom and dad. And they're both remarried. Grandpa Sweat's house was cool because we would go and have endless rook tournaments. Some of you may know what rook is. It's called vegetarian card playing. We used to have endless games of rook, and my grandpa was really, really competitive in days gone by, so my mom wouldn't let us play with him until we were really good because they were afraid that grandpa would kill the grandchildren, so they had to protect us. So when you got to play with Grandpa Sweat, you felt really, really cool, like I have arrived, I am now cool. Grandma and Grandpa had tons of toys. Grandma and Grandpa Sweat. They had a three-wheeler back when those first came out. Those are absolute death traps. They were fantastic. Motorcycles, tractors. He had an airplane, but we didn't fly that at Christmas. That's a little scary. And then they got electronics, and they got a Texas Instruments TI-99 4A. Anybody remember those? Or computer geeks here from back in that big cartridge in the front, little keyboard, and you plug it in the TV and play games, and we got to play at Grandma's house. It was cool. Asteroids. It was very fun. And then Grandma Cook's house, she didn't have all the toys, but she had the cooking. She was the great cook, and it was great being here. You got to understand that my family would come, and my aunt and uncle who lived in Maryland would come with their 2 daughters, and sometimes my other aunt and uncle that lived out in New York would come, or Pennsylvania would come, and they bring their 3 kids, and my aunt and uncle that lived in Canada sometimes would come down. So there could be a full house of people. And this was great because it messed with Grandpa. Grandma Cook was, she loved it. Grandpa Cook, however, was a nice guy, but he was kind of a little more conservative, a little more, everything was on a system, and you get all these kids together, grandkids, children, grandchildren, the whole mob, and things kind of go to chaos, and nobody goes to bed on time, and this really disturbed Grandpa. I can still remember him in his striped pajamas, you know, the old-style striped pajamas with the jacket, shirt, and pants coming out from the bedroom, trying to get everyone, especially Grandma, to go to bed, even though they lived in separate rooms and it didn't make a difference. She needed her sleep. He was the Grinch. We loved him, but he was kind of the Grinch at Christmas. But there's something about going to the grandparents' house because you just kind of felt warm and safe, and you had freedom, and you knew where the cookie corner was, the candy cupboard that Grandpa didn't know about, but Grandma did and stocked for us. You had that sense of sitting at the big kid table and hanging out with the adults, and you felt really good.